So now when we talk about menstruation stigma, or any stigma for that matter, it is very deeply rooted in patriarchy, as many things are. Okay. And then when we talk about patriarchy, automatically we talk about gender roles. And then when we talk about gender roles, we think about what is an ideal man, who is an ideal man, who is an ideal woman, right? So when we talk about an ideal woman, is she supposed to be docile? She's supposed to be fragile. She's supposed to be soft-spoken. And the main thing is that she's not supposed to have an opinion of her own. And even if she has an opinion, it cannot be against the man's opinion, okay, or patriarchy's opinion. Let's put it that. So when we were young, okay, and when our mothers were young, our grandmothers were young, we've been educated not about our periods, not about our bodies. We've not been educated to speak up. We've more been educated about the society, about how you should fear the society when you talk about these kinds of things, when you are completely vocal, when you are bold about these kinds of things. What will the society say? What will your neighbors say? How will they look at you? How will they perceive you? So their perception. That is what we've been educated about. So that is where, see, the thing is that if we don't talk about it, like, okay, okay, granted that we've been given that education about fearing the society, but if we don't go against this education and we don't change the narrative, then that stigma is going to stay for more years. It's been, what, centuries, I suppose. How many more centuries do we want to prolong it? That is the question we should be asking.
Yeah, exactly. So, so when we're talking about internalizing, now let's say that woman has a set role, like a defined role that she has to follow through. Like it's deep-rooted thing. It's a set of rules that she has to put herself in. It's very difficult to manage a balance between a work life and a traditional image, right? Like suppose, what is an ideal woman? Ideal woman is supposed to be caring, loving, putting forth others' needs far more on a priority than herself. Okay, but when a woman is going through something called PMS or like periods, what happens is there's a clash. There's a clash between what, being not being able to express those things that you feel and what the ideal image is expected of you. You are feeling so many things when you have your periods. There's a surge of emotions, there's pain, there is frustration, but you cannot do that, because if you do that, you do not fit into that image. And this whole thing again continues in a work scenario. When you go to work, of course, because of all these situations that all the things that you are feeling, your productivity is going to reduce, is going to get affected to a certain degree. Okay, but you cannot communicate about it. And why is that? Because of stigma. Because of the stigma, you know that if you speak about it, it is going to perpetuate gender indifferences. It's going to reinforce some sort of a discrimination, and you do not want to be seen as a woman who is a little weak or is lesser in any way. So what do? You hide it. You end up, rather you don't have any other option but to hide it. You internalize it. And because you internalize it, you are more withdrawn. You end up blaming yourself for not being productive enough in a workplace, or not being the good friend out there because you can't go out, or not cooking enough, so cooking well for your family, or whatever your reasons are. You just blame yourself, and basically the whole thing becomes a stigma for you too. You assume that, okay, it's wrong for me to have any kind of problem with periods. It happens to everybody, so why am I suffering so much? So I am just using this for myself, or things on those like that. We totally disregard our experience, and that is what we've been taught. So to give a very clear, simple example, like hiding a pad. When you have to go change a pad, you hide it. You have these million ways of hiding a pad. And it's a very instant reaction to just sneak out of a puja if there is one in the house when you have your periods. These things are like ingrained in our day-to-day living to a degree where we don't even think twice. We just like assume that that's our role. So I would just simply like to say that when you're experiencing the symptoms or the PMS or all those things that go on, you really need to understand what goes on with your body, and that is how you will be able to work on them. You really need to accept certain things. It is okay to feel so many things. You need to accept the fact that there are mood swings that are coming your way, and all these things are like, the more accepting you are of all of this, the more easier it's going to get for you to be able to work around them. Right? So that is just one thing that I would like to say.
When you talk to your mother, ask her what her concerns are. I think you need to start saying it from her point of view, and maybe you have seen it from her point of view, but have her verbalize it once, right? So what happens is that it opens a discussion, it opens a conversation. So if she, maybe if she says that, I don't want to talk about this because it's not something that you should talk about in public, or it's not something that you should just talk about in general. Question it, but don't question it in an aggressive manner. Don't confront her. Just try to have a very normal, calm discussion, and then through that, try to explain everything that's going on, everything that, again, I'm coming back to education, like that's really important here. But yeah, you need to understand her point of view and where what her thought process is, because what happens is that there's this term called cognitive distortions, right? So cognition basically means thinking, distortion means like an error. So there are errors in thinking that happen on a daily basis for lots of reasons, and it happens to all of us. So when we think about like periods being something that you're not supposed to talk about, not supposed to be open about, that is an error in thinking, right? So when a person, like for example your mother here, if she identifies that error, okay, there are chances she can go from there, and then she can start making, like a U-turn, and start thinking about why she's thinking this way, or what is another way to think about this topic. So identifying those errors in thinking for ourselves and others also is very crucial, and that can happen only through disputing, only through conversation, and only through open dialogue, and in a very calm and rational manner, obviously not, when your tensions are running high and you're screaming and shouting at each other, obviously not. But that is one thing that you can do. You can dispute her cognitive distortions by giving her facts.
Okay, so like before we even discuss about relationship with others, let's focus on the relationship with ourselves during periods. So one of the main symptoms that we see during PMS or PMDD is lowering of self-esteem. Self-esteem is basically opinion of ourselves, which is influenced by like how we think that other people see us, right? And our decisions are quite a lot of times based on opinions of others, and that makes us vulnerable, right? And we see this in various ways. Like there are times when we say things like, "This is not me. That's not how I would do things." So basically, we're quite confused about our own actions. And then there are times when you just look into the mirror and you're like, okay, I don't like what I'm seeing. This is not okay. So you are quite worried about your physical looks. Then there are times when something goes wrong, or you get some kind of a bad response from somewhere. You assume somewhere you deserve it. It's like a huge blow to your self-confidence. You just take it in. Okay, I deserve this maybe. And again, it doesn't help when there is a lot of there's a loss of productivity in PMS and PMDD, because there is this loss of interest. You can't focus anywhere, and this loss of productivity again becomes a factor where there is a lower self-esteem. It really triggers that whole point of, and we just self-doubt all the time again. And this whole thing becomes so overwhelming that we feel like we're losing grasp of a reality. We just don't know how to take control of things around us. Because of the fear of this, what we do is, to get rid of this feeling, we try to displace our fears, right? So how do we do that? We try to externalize it. We project it externally. Externalizing ends up helping us to reduce that negative thought about ourselves. Okay, so basically how you use your defense mechanism. Basically your defense mechanism kicks in over here, and you end up projecting, like for example, you have your partner, let's say for an example, and you come home and he did not get laundry. You're going to snap at him. You're going to lash out like it's nobody's business, and you would have ideally not even given this a second glance. So what happened over here is that feeling that you cannot deal with yourself, you put it out there. You put it onto somebody else, right? And this is what happens. Now when we are talking about, while we are dealing with all of this, there is the other side to this, like the other person over here. Let's say it's a partner or your family member. There are two ways we can go about this. One is there's no communication at all. Okay, so imagine you continuing with that same example, you lash out at your partner, and your partner is going to feel, okay, this reaction was unwarranted. Why did this happen? Okay, so that is just going to bring unnecessary strain on our relationship, because your partner is not going to know whatever you are going through. Like unless you are going to explain it to your partner as to whatever is going on with you, your partner is just going to be so clueless, right? Another thing is miscommunication. Like you would be scared to talk about PMS because you've heard somewhere people saying, oh, PMSing, she's just using that reason to get out of things. It's just another excuse. right? Or this is not my problem, it's her problem, let her deal with it. So when these things happen, this thing is what affects our productivity, our self-esteem, and it reflects in our workplaces or with our other relations.
Definitely. No, and the point about communication, it is so important that, I mean, from your side, there needs to be some kind of a transparent, communicative, initiative. And then from your partner's side, also, there needs to be active listening, which is equally important, because you need to meet each other at a midpoint. You can't, just because you've been with your partner for a number of years and they've seen you throughout various menstrual cycles, that does not mean that they will know exactly what is going on, right? You need to be verbalizing about this. If your partner is asking you to maybe pick up something from the store and you're really not feeling it, then you have to say it, and in a polite manner, not like, hey, I can't go right now, can't you see I'm not like, in the mood and stuff. Not like that. You have to say, like, you have to be like, listen, I'm PMSing right now, I really don't feel like I can go right now, just please understand. I mean, look at the difference between those two dialogues, right? One is you're projecting, the way Monali said, that you're putting your entire anger on that certain person. The second is that you're trying to have the person empathize with you, right? And if there are any males watching, this is for you, that you need to be an active listener. And when it comes to active listening, you have to talk about education also. You have to educate yourself also. You can't put the entire thing on the woman because she is going through something. But then if you do care about her, then take that extra step, go that extra mile to understand what is happening to her. And women, obviously, we need to also be very open about these things. Like we've said so many times before, we need to educate ourselves so that we can educate others. Whether it is your son, whether it is your daughter, whether it is your parents, whatever, you need to take that initiative to tell them what is exactly going on. And then maybe you can give them the resources later on that, these are the resources, please read these up, and then we'll talk. We'll have a calm, mature adult discussion about this, because we're all adults in this situation and this is all natural. So meeting in that midpoint with any relationship, whether it is your mother, whether it is your father, whoever it is, you need to meet at a midpoint, and both parties need to take equal efforts and they need to empathize with each other.